everybody! Welcome to Pawsome Stamps YouTube channel. I'm Allison Cope, and today I'm going to share the entire card making process with you today. And we are featuring our adorable Prickly Friend stamp set. We're also going to be using some water-based markers, the Karin markers, and some VersaFine ink. All right, let's go get started. So I started by just kind of stamping my images out, not worrying about overlapping on a scrap piece of paper that's the same size as my card front. And today I'm using a 6 by 3.5, which is a slimline mini. And this helps with positioning and understanding where and when you want to use your masks. So we're going to now understand where everything overlaps, what has to be stamped in front first, and what gets stamped in behind. So let's start by looking at this just a little bit further here. I'm going to put the small round cactus and the little tiny little baby one in front, I believe. So I only need to mask off these two because the other ones overlap only those particular cactus. So I only have to create 2 masks. So this helps you out with an understanding of what you have to do to prep. The other thing I know too is that I want to pull up all of my images farther up on the top of the card. Therefore, that gives me enough space to stamp a greeting. So let's do that. So I've got our fussy cut out images that are going to go in the foreground of our image. Now, when you go to stamp, you can make adjustments off this if this is not a configuration that you're wanting. So I know that I want to pull this little guy here down a little bit, and because he has to be stamped first, we can do that right away. So I also want to adjust all of my cactuses so that they go up a little bit, so I have a little bit more room on my card front to put a sentiment. So I also know that, so I'm going to move up my panel. So we're going to put the little fella in the front, and of course you can adjust accordingly. And we're also going to put the other little potted one in the front as well. So I'm just moving them down, and that's why your cheat sheet is great, because you can make those adjustments super easy before you use up your good product or your good paper, and before you take all the time to color things in and you've already made all the changes. So I'm inking it up here with a water friendly ink. There we go. I am going to stamp it once more just to get nice crisp lines. There's a few lines that didn't quite get enough ink, and voila, perfect. I'm just going to wipe off those stamps and peel them off my lid of my Misty here. This is a tool that I cannot live without. So I'm just going to push that back down into the corner. We're going to apply our paper masks. When you cut a paper mask, make sure to cut right into that outer line, almost to the point where you cut that outer line completely off. It's just going to allow you to have better stamping of that secondary image behind. Oops, and of course you should put it in the proper position as well. Okay, ta-da, we have masked them off. Now we're going to put in our big fellas. So I'm going to do our outside 2 images because I know I can't put those 2 particular stamps down in the same stamping session because of the acrylic that is around the edge. So I'm going to eyeball this one just because I know I've put this up a little bit. So I'm just going to do this by hand. So I have used these masks before. That's why they have a little bit of overlap here. And we're going to put our other larger little baby Oops. I'm gonna put her, because she's got a flower, right? Okay, we're gonna pick that up. Apply our ink. Okay. And those look really good, so I'm not going to worry about a double stamp on them. Let's clean off those stamps. I'm going to peel them off, put them back on their backer sheet. And I'm going to grab the final cacti to go in the center here. I'm going to have to move my magnet up. Now, be careful when you do this. See how my ink from my lid actually got stuck to my magnet? So be very careful when you reposition things, because you can actually transfer that like onto your fingertips. So be careful. I will actually get that and wipe that off in a second, but we can stamp first. Nice, good inking, good firm pressure, and that stamped really well too. So it's just a matter of wiping clean and peeling off our images. Now I always keep my masks because I can reuse them a few times. So there we go. And I wish I would have done this one a little bit higher, but apparently I was not paying attention, but we're just gonna go with it. So again, I'm just gonna carefully wipe off that ink. And there's our finished panel. Let's get coloring it up. Okay, now the fun begins. I'm going to use our Karin markers, and to speed the video up, I'm going to speed it up and along with some music, and away we go. And I will show you the marker caps, which have the name on it of whatever I'm going to use. So this one is sulfur yellow, and let's color. super, super simple and easy coloring. It's just straight ink right out of the pen with a tiny bit of blending on the blooms and the orange pot. And let's finish this card off. So I think our little babies need a little bit of a shadow underneath them, just so that it doesn't look like they're floating in air. I am not being specific as to where my light source is really coming from. I mean, the pots are kind of all over the place as far as their shadows are concerned. So I'm gonna do the shadow the same way, just kind of going with the flow. So just a little bit of, this is neutral gray 2. There we go. Now it doesn't look like they're flying. Okay, let's put a sentiment on this puppy. Okay, so I have chosen to put the little hi in the bubble and the happy birthday, which I just moved, on the card, because I'm always needing birthday cards. I don't know about you guys, but I always seem to be behind too. Now, just have to move it into position here. And you can double check with the grid line that is etched into the Misty lid to make sure that everything is straight and everything looks good. And we're going to use the same VersaFine black ink here and ink up our little hi and our little happy birthday message. So this is a fairly simple card, and of course you could jazz it up by doing more in the background, but I want to make those little cacti fellas the center of my card. So I think it's perfect just the way it is without any background disruption. So that's it. All I have to do is now just put it on a card base and we are all set to go. So thanks for joining me today. I hope I've inspired you to get out some of our amazing stamps and get coloring. Thanks, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, guys.